Water is such a precious commodity without which we cannot imagine life without. With the urban world population growing rapidly, water challenges are also growing rapidly. In the year 2016, water scarcity was projected to increase from 933 million to the range of 1.6 to 2.3 billion urbanites, which is nearly about half of the world population by the year 2050. To promote sustainable and livable cities of the future, there is a need to understand the urban water challenges affecting the cities around the world and the metropolis across the globe in an urban perspective. Join me, Alex Maingi, a candidate of MS Applied Geospatial Science at BGSU, as we delve into the urban water challenges of Nairobi. Nairobi began in the year 1890 as a British colonial railway settlement and later grew into a railway headquarters, and the city grew around the railway headquarters. Initially, it used to be just a galloping, swampy plain with wildlife, and where the Maasais, who initially occupied the land, used to graze their cattle, and it used to serve as a watering point for their cattle. Also, it used to be a meeting place for the Kikuyus, who come from the central part of Kenya, who are agriculturalists, and the Maasais from the plains, who are pastoralists, who keep cattle, and they used to trade. Later on, in the year 1950, shortly before Kenya gained independence, it became a city under the Loyal Charter Incorporation. After independence in the year 1963, Nairobi has continued to grow, which has now become a very big thriving metropolis, growing rapidly and becoming one of the most influential cities and a major economic hub among other cities in the 54 African countries. However, despite the youthfulness of Nairobi, it is also faced by water challenges as compared to the bigger cities in America and other metropolis across the world. This presentation focuses on highlighting and discussing the major sources of water in Nairobi, their storage capacity, their location. It also touches on the politics and governance of water in Nairobi, the magnitude of water crisis in Nairobi, and what it costs Nairobians to get this precious commodity, and lastly provides potential solutions to the current water crisis in Nairobi City. This particular slide is a quick walkthrough on the major water sources of Nairobi City. Nairobi has 4 major water sources, which includes 3 dams, which are the Sasamua Dam, Ruiru Dam, and the Thika Dam, and the Kikuyu Springs. Kikuyu Springs is the oldest source of water for Nairobi City, having its construction works completed in the year 1913. It has 3 springs, and the treatment of water here is done by chlorination, and the water is piped to the city, which is about a 10-kilometer distance, and it serves the area of the Nairobi residents in the neighborhood around Karen, Uthiru, Dagoretti, and their surroundings. Moving forward, we have the Sasamua Dam, which is the oldest dam in Kenya, or rather in Nairobi. It's located in Jamini, Nyandarua, which is in central part of Kenya, which is around the Aberdare ranges. Its first construction works completed in the 1955, and the second phase completed in the year 1968. It has a storage capacity of 15.9 million cubic meters and has a pipeline network of a distance of 60 kilometers to Kabete treatment plant, which is the biggest treatment in Nairobi City. Secondly, we have the Ruiru Dam, which is located in Githunguri, Kiambu. It had its construction works completed in the year 1950. Has a storage capacity of 290 million cubic meter and has a pipeline of 25 kilometers from the dam location in Ruiru to Kabete treatment plant. Then lastly, we have the Thika or Dakaine Dam, also known as Dakaine Dam. It's located in Dakaine or Thika district, which is currently in Kiambu County. It is the biggest dam with a storage capacity of 77 million cubic meters and contributes about 84% of the water supply in Nairobi city. The raw water from the dam is transmitted to Ngedu Waterworks where it undergoes treatment, and then it's further transmitted to Gigiri Reservoir, which is about a distance of 37 kilometers, where it gets distributed to other areas of Nairobi city. Just so you know, Gigiri district is the home of the United Nations headquarters and the US Embassy. So quick facts from this slide, you can deduce that Nairobi outsources its water from the neighboring areas, which is transmitted by pipe networks to the city. You can also deduce that these structures were built up in the 90s, which is about 30 years ago, and the total supply of water from the three dams and the springs is about 525,600 cubic liters, but the current demand for water in Nairobi is 790,000 cubic meters. On the water governance in Nairobi city, the procedures for the establishment, management and development of water resources and sewerage are provided for by the Water Act that was formed in the year 2002. In this act, various institutions, government agencies are mandated with the management of this precious resource. In Nairobi city, the Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company is mandated as the sole distributor of piped water in the city, and also with the role of ensuring and providing clean water and sewage services to its residents. Also, the Kenyan Constitution of 2010 contains provisions of water rights for Kenyans, whereby every Kenyan has a right to clean water and proper sanitation to reasonable standards. But with the chronic water scarcity that has been facing Nairobi city and the country at large, many Kenyans have these rights on paper, and especially to them that live in the low-income areas, especially in the slums around the city. Regarding this aspect on water governance, it is evident that the water that is distributed to the various parts of the city, including the high-end neighborhoods and the low-income neighborhoods, comes from the government storage and treatment facilities, of course, which are run by the government agencies and institutions with the like of the Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company. This to mean that an implication of the water crisis faced in the city and the country at large are as a result of the government crisis. Water is one of the sectors the Kenyan government has sent key efforts in, but much of the improvements have not been realized, especially in the low-income areas of the slums. Surprisingly, the resource allocation goes hand in hand with the politics of the government of the day and the political ambitions of those holding the office in the water docket. On to the magnitude of water crisis in Nairobi. Here is a map that I got from a study that was carried out by the French Institute of Research in Africa, where in case of trying to understand the water crisis in Nairobi and providing potential solutions, they used remote sensing data and spatial data analysis, where they came up with data to show the piped water coverage in Nairobi, where the region with the 0 to 50 shows regions in Nairobi that have a lesser coverage of pipe network, with the deep blue color showing areas that have high pipe network coverage, especially to the north and the southern part of the CBD. So from the CBD towards the east, you can notice that the areas with the range of 0 to 50 are areas where we have most of the, in Eastlands, where you have the slums, and also towards the south, we have these slums. So this to mean translates to the 64% of the population that identifies themselves with piped water in Nairobi, and then now the low income areas have zero or no access to piped water at all. So Nairobi during the daytime, as a percentage, the population swings from the 4 million to 5 million during the day, and with the water supply of 570 cubic meters, of course, before the losses, the leakages and illegal connections, it amounts to 120 liters per capita per day. This to mean that each person in a day is supposed to use 120 liters. So due to the deficit of the 200,000 cubic meters that we saw in the earlier sections of this slide, then Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company introduced a water rationing program whereby various places in the city receives water during different parts of the day. Now this water is not really enough, and out of the water rationing, 75% of the residents in a day have to get water from the pushcart vendors. This map shows the cost distribution of what it costs Nairobians to get water. This shows distribution in 1,000 liters per day. We have the green area showing 50 shillings to get 1,000 liters, whereas the 1,600 Kenya shillings for the same 1,000 liters per day. We can notice that around the CBD is where water costs more. So this is just a breakdown of whatever is represented in this map, in that a household spends around 200 for 4 barrels of fresh water in a day. Water from the borehole goes for 10 shillings per 20 liters, which is often salty and has high levels of fluorine. The fresh water goes for 20 to 50 shillings, which is to mean that this is double the. Now, all these situations create socioeconomic inequalities, in that water scarcity allows the stark difference between the upper class and the lower income earners. Now, the potential water solutions to the water scarcity includes the Nairobi Water Company needs to formulate methods of tackling the non-revenue water, which amounts to that 6.4%, which is similar to the amount of water that is supplied by the Sasamua Dam. Also, there needs to be intensive policy coordination and proper choice on investment in water. There needs to be harmony between the county government, the national government, and the other agencies. Also, there are calls to be need of equal distribution of water, and especially during the rationing program. Also, there needs to be technology innovation, also while scaling up the existing technologies that are being developed in the water industry. And lastly, there needs to be creation of awareness of water conservation and water harvesting vis-a-vis investments in the heavy engineering infrastructures and structures. Lastly, in conclusion, Nairobi City has continually to make a lot of efforts to address the water scarcity using the high expensive engineering infrastructures. For example, the Northern Corridor, the Northern Water Collector Tunnel that is set to increase the capacity of Ndakaini Dam, which contributes about 84% of water in the city. Also, there needs to be a comprehensive understanding of water scarcity in Nairobi City from an urban perspective in order to address this issue. Also, lastly, providing instant remedies or other simple solutions at hand is essential to make Nairobi a livable and sustainable city in the future. This includes such as creation of awareness on water usage efficiency, conservation, and such things. And also, even with encouraging the private developers, as the city is rapidly growing, to include systems that are water efficient, such as the shower cups, the toilets, kitchen sinks, and other home appliances. So this comes to the end of the presentation. Thank you for your time, unless there's a question.